The deep blue sea might be breathtaking to look at, but when it wants to get down to business, its power knows no bounds. From swallowing up surfers in mile-high waves to multi-million-dollar beach house properties getting wiped out, here are some 20 monster waves caught on video. Back in October of 2020, world-renowned German surfer Sebastian Stutner got the surprise of his life while surfing off the coast of Praia do Norte. A larger-than-life monster wave was making its way to him, standing at a staggering 26.21 meters, which is equivalent to standing on top of an 8-story building. He took the challenge and broke the Guinness World Record for the biggest wave surfed. Unlike Sebastian, though, the waves off of Praia do Norte ended up being fatal for 35-year-old surfer Thiago Jacare. While riding one of the monster waves, he loses his balance and plunges headfirst into the water. But things take a turn for the worst when 4 huge waves simultaneously crash on top of the helpless surfer. Luckily, he didn't suffer any injuries when he was rescued.
That's a wipeout. Oh. Can you see him? Oh, he's there. Pumba.
Não dá, tem que voltar atrás. Não, sai. Alex, no fundo do Langer. Easy Langer. Devagar, Langer. Tá no certo. Tudo ok.
It's one thing for unsuspecting onlookers to get carried away by the sheer strength of a wave. But in this instance, even the person recording the wave got hit square in the ace too. For the people who thought they were getting on a normal ferry ride in Germany back in 2022, boy were they in for the surprise of a lifetime. The ferry had unfortunately sailed into a storm, with massive waves threatening to tear it apart, and it almost did when one wave came with such force that it shattered the windows of the ferry. Cruise ships are probably the only thing sailing in the oceans that can somewhat stay their ground when it comes to huge waves, just like this one crashing head first into these massive waves. This building was built on the beautiful island of Tenerife, which is the biggest in the Canary Islands. And back in 2018, the area was hit by one of the most devastating storms in its history. With 5-story tall waves crashing onto the shore, one of them managed to get close to the building and effortlessly tore off one of the balconies in one swing. Mother Nature at her finest. Off the coast of Turkey, it was a normal day for the crew of this cargo ship until they hit rough weather out at sea. Even that is manageable, but no one was ready for the moment when a big strong wave hit the front of the ship with full force, snapping it in half. It held on, but barely by a thread. When there's a beautiful beach and the sun behind you in the sky, you can't help but want to take a picture, just like this lady, who took her time posing for the perfect click. Sadly, while she was smiling and looking at the camera, an unsuspecting wave ambushed her and had her sweeping away on the shore. The waves around these shorelines can get pretty massive, and it wasn't any different during this day. Everyone was enjoying themselves, but this Indian family decided to test the limits of just how far out they could go, and it was that mistake that cost them their lives as a huge wave swept away 5 of them out to sea, and the bodies of only 2 of them were found. Back in 2015, Puerto Escondido saw one of its biggest swells in 2 decades, and Mark decided to head and surf the giant beast. Everything looked good up until the point he couldn't come down the wave, but by the time it did, he had already been swallowed. No one knows how, but he somehow survived the onslaught of waves. This sea wave crashes into the side of the road and decides to go above and beyond to not just wet the people standing there, but flood the road enough to engulf the cars parked on the opposite side of the road. Imagine you're sitting in a restaurant, enjoying your delicious meal and drink when suddenly you see a wave creeping from the shoreline, and it hits the glass wall square in the face. That's exactly what happened at a restaurant in Southbroom, South Africa in September 2023. This freak wave ended up injuring at least 7 people who were present there.
This one.
Having a beautiful wedding with friends and family is every couple's dream, but when it came to this pair, Mother Nature decided to pay a visit too. While the wedding party was enjoying themselves, out of nowhere a rogue wave crashed on the side of the venue and consequently ended up flooding the tables put out for the guests, as well as getting some of their dresses wet. It's normal for rogue waves to sometimes get really close to the shoreline, but when the waves start testing out just how much damage they can actually do, things always take a turn for the worst, like what happened in Cape Town. The wave came crashing so quickly that people didn't even have time to get away, and it ended up flooding the roads as well as some restaurants nearby. I think by this point, it's safe to say that huge waves equals a hell of a lot of damage. But here, almost $1 million went down the drain when these massive waves, one after the other, started hitting this luxury home. Even though it probably caused a lot of damage inside, the residents are just enjoying the show the sea is putting on for them.
Oh my gosh! Whoa, dude!
The weather can get pretty rough up north of England, especially in the winter. The last thing anyone would want is to get wet in freezing temperatures. But unfortunately for the people in Newland, Mother Nature had other plans when a rogue wave crashed directly into a bridge and flooded the roads nearby as well. This was followed by an onslaught of multiple waves. Now it's not rocket science to know that some of these massive waves are not to be taken lightly, and most people don't. Well, except these guys apparently. These 2 guys decided to take a front row seat to Mother Nature's wrath in between some rocks by the shore. For a couple of waves, they seemed fine, but towards the end, one at a time the waves swept the boys off of the rocks, and they almost got pulled to sea. Monster waves might wreak havoc along coastal cities, but they do much more damage to oil rigs out at sea, which are quite literally in the middle of the deep open sea. The Dunbar oil rig went through its worst storm ever, with almost 5-story high waves crashing into its structure one after the other. Imagine you're on the beach, sitting under an umbrella, sipping on your cool drink, when out of nowhere a massive wave makes its way from the shore and crashes into you. That's exactly what happened to these poor tourists. just when you think you've seen it all, you're proven wrong. For people who live in Cape Town, storms aren't anything new, and also the waves that come with them. But this time around, the area got hit by a massive wave of sea foam. These were the biggest monster waves caught on camera, but did you ever wonder about other 1 in a billion moments in nature? A car hitting a dense swarm of locusts, rainbow waterfalls, or even blue lava. Mother Nature is never boring. Well, this video is over, so you might as well click it. What are you doing? Just click it.